Okay, so this is kind of just getting that whole posterior chain kind of working together here. Unfortunately, I don't have the weights with me here, so we'll just have to pretend I have some. This will be like a progression. So I've got this yoga block here. You can use some pillows if you need. This is just to kind of get things going. You can very quickly progress without these. So this is kind of like the training wheels. So I'll put this back behind my head. We have to consider that our heads are usually slightly forward. I don't want to be like pressed flat with my chin tucked here. That's a little unnatural. So I do want a little bit of a spacer here. So depending on how forward your head typically is, you might want to have that a little, where you want that to be somewhat comfortable for yourself. So you don't want to feel like you're choking yourself here. So see something more like that maybe. So I want to feel kind of where it should be, or maybe a slight stretch, okay? And so I want to just get a sense of like, I'm going to bend my knees so I can very comfortably or fairly comfortably keep my hips back and my feet slightly forward, so I can just really connect. And this is where I might want some light weights at least to start, and then my shoulder blades back. They don't have to be touching the walls, but I definitely want my hips back here to connect with my glutes and my heels. Think about those tripods. Sorry, you can't really see me here. Let me move over. That's better. Heels, knees out a little bit towards those toes. My chest is going to be obviously centered here because I'm doing this bilaterally, and then that'll be more towards the big toe knuckles. My chest is forward, right? So as much as it can be, right? Because my head is back. So this will be easier without being pinned to the wall. But right now I want to have some connection to my head. I can look up, roll my head a little bit as I look up, lift the chest, lift the arms up. Okay, just get a sense of that kind of flow through my body. And that connection to the head, right? Because that's the hardest one to really connect. It's all the way up at the top. And again, those weights, get a sense of that feel, that flow. Try not to let my arms just swing way ahead of my body. Kind of get that sense of like when my elbows get here, that my chest is kind of lifting a little bit with my elbows instead of my arms getting ahead. Kind of lift the chest, okay? And then, so imagine like I can come off of there like a bar almost going across my ribs, like a single rib connecting my elbows through my body. So when I lift up here, again, not from my low back, but right about the bra line here, or just above it maybe. I'm gonna lift from here. I'm still anchoring back from my hips, my lower ribs and hips, and I'm lifting here, and I wanna feel that tension, because that tension is gonna be some resistance, some tightness maybe in my body. And then I can go side to side, that shift lift, the open window kinda, right? Maybe with a little resistance from some weights, and I can feel that tightness, resistance to my body, but I can also feel that stability. And that's a nice way to kind of loosen some things up, breathe with that. Nice little warm-up routine. I'm still thinking about that wall behind me, the invisible wall, connecting to that, breathing through that, and just channeling, refining with a little resistance. Really just getting everything plugged in all the way from my feet up through my head, my neck. I'm stabilizing through those muscles, connecting. I can take a band, which I do have here. I can plug in here if I want. So I can, again, this is my connecting band here now. So I can kind of hear, I can do some of that like that, just thinking about that. Now the band's kind of helping me a little bit, so I can kind of feel that. And then I can bring it now here, like a headband, just gently, not trying to tear my head off, but I'm pulling back against it now like the wall, and that's a good way to connect to my head now. So now I gotta stabilize through those neck muscles, which again are usually on the weaker side. So if you're really trying to get those stronger, which again, they're pretty weak in most people, so don't overdo it, get used to it, ease your way into that. And you might wanna do this in sitting first, just so you don't have too much going on, and then over time maybe, okay, because that really takes some doing. You know, those muscles you'll feel, they're not used to all this, but that's why, you know, we're sitting at the computer and stuff, we have that forward head, right? And those muscles, they really start much lower. They're in like the mid back and up, because you can see how my posture is here. Really far forward from that mid back end, but that's where we get that forward head, from way down there, almost down to the bra line. But see, watch this, when I pull up here, now my posture should be a bit straighter, see? Like that. And I can feel that. I'm working those muscles. It may not be perfect. I'm working on it too. So this is a little newer for me. Work in progress. But I can feel it. I'm getting stronger, working on those muscles. Over time, my posture should improve. It's not just the posture, it's just the function and the support that comes from those muscles, so that when I'm 80 years old, hopefully I'm not stuck with here, right? And having a bunch of disc and bone issues because it's all collapsed, right? So that's the idea, that's the hope. And that will really throw off balance too. Not a good thing when you're 80 years old with osteoporosis to have some balance issues. So there you go.